Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Toyota and I'm a YouTube creator with Kin Community. I make fun vegan comfort food on my channel Hot for Food along with my boyfriend John. And I also have another YouTube channel called Lauren in Real Life where I share how to live a vegan lifestyle and I post a lot of vlogs. One of the coolest parts about getting to create content for people on YouTube is all of the direct feedback and comments that you receive. And it's really special because we receive lots of positive comments all the time from people who are making small changes in their lives or big changes in their lives by adopting a vegan lifestyle and diet. And we also see tons of cool pictures on social media of people making our recipes from Hot for Food. And to me, that is the most rewarding part. The photos are amazing. People are so enthusiastic about it. And it's really neat to be able to contribute and make change in some way just by getting to do what I love for a living. A while back, I formed a bit of a special connection with one Hot for Foodie. He was just so enthusiastic on social media about sharing our recipes, and I kind of took notice. So I'm really glad I got to give back by doing dinner exchange with him.
My name is Joe Rapp. I'm 23 years old and I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm super into health and wellness, and I recently became vegan because I was inspired by Lauren and John on Hot for Food. So funny story about how I first discovered Hot for Food. I was actually on a third or fourth date with this very trendy guy who was from like Portland or San Francisco or someplace like that, and he told me that he was vegan. So I was like, okay, of course I want to impress this guy, so I started Googling all these vegan recipes, and I found Jenna Marbles' boyfriend, Julian. He has a vlog on YouTube, and he was making one of Lauren's recipes, and they were like these cauliflower buffalo wings, and I was like, whoa, that's creative, that's really cool. I spent all this time preparing, and I didn't try the recipe beforehand because I just had no idea what I was doing, and I used tin foil instead of using parchment paper, which is like a very specific part of baking that I just didn't know. I totally bombed the recipe. And then later on, I was like, this seems like it's something that I probably could do if I tried a little bit harder. So I remade the recipe a few days later for a couple of friends. Came out awesome, and I was like, I'm hooked. I need to look up this channel. In Lauren's video, she goes, tap, 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 and place. Tap, 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 and place. It's a skill. So after that experience, I got really hooked on Lauren's show. I loved the way that she was talking about food. I loved the things that she was doing. I liked watching her and John and their interactions. Everything just felt natural. I reached out to Lauren after following her for quite a few months, and I asked her what are the biggest challenges that one might face being vegan or trying to go vegan. And she gave me this super honest answer, really inspired me.
Joe Rapp. Hey dude, this guy's awesome. He makes our Hot for Food recipes and posts them all over Twitter, and you seem to me like the most unlikely person that would follow Hot for Food, but you're cool and we love you and we like sharing the photos that you take.
When I saw that she shouted me out on her personal channel on her vlogs, I was overjoyed. I shared the video with everybody. I was like, look, this is so cool. Like somebody that really inspired me was touched or reached out. Right now, what's really cool is that I'm helping Lauren with her cookbook. She's coming out with a cookbook in the new year, which is an incredibly exciting project. And so I'm helping her taste test some recipes. We kind of ping pong ideas, and communicating with her is great. It's really cool to have that come full circle. So before I really got into YouTube and just the finer elements of the cooking community there, I was really only good at making pasta. I would go to the grocery store and just sort of pick out stuff that I was already used to eating. I used to eat a lot of meats. I used to eat a lot of beef. I think that there's a common stereotype that you need to eat this way in order to work out, in order to put on muscle, and in order to stay active. And sort of after I became vegan and transitioned, I realized that's just not true at all. So I come from a very traditional salt-of-the-earth Italian family. Cheeses and meat sauces were a really big part of our diet. You know, you have lasagnas and you have spaghetti sauce and meatballs and all these things that my body didn't really naturally like. And it's funny because people will be like, you're Italian and you don't like sauce. It's like, no, I really never liked meat sauce. I never liked heavy Parmesan cheeses. And kind of later on, I realized oh, it's probably because my body doesn't want these things that I just didn't like them. It takes a little bit of practice for sure to think about how do I think closely about what my stomach is telling me, but everything that you put in your body is everything that you're gonna get out of it. One of the biggest things I noticed now that I've cut meat and dairy out of my diet is that my digestion is way better. I feel like I'm actually tasting my food. I feel like it's actually being digested in the right way. I'm a little bit more regulated throughout the day and my energy levels are higher. I think that it brightened up my complexion, which is something that people talk about. It really helped me in so many ways, and I didn't even know that that was what my body needed because I was so used to eating meat for so long. I truly, really wouldn't be living the life that I was if I didn't watch Hot for Food and if I didn't start getting creative in my kitchen and if I didn't start experimenting with truly good food. Lauren really inspired me with all of her creations and then got me really regulated and got my life where it needed to be. And now I'm doing that for other people. So it's a total chain of the universe manifesting that.
I'm so happy that Joe gets to share his story of how he's made all of these positive changes in his life. And sometimes I can't believe that something I create for fun actually impacts somebody this much. So Joe makes our recipes all the time, of course, from Hot for Food. So now it's my turn to try something a little bit new. Joe and his mom sent me a package with ingredients to make something very special from his family. So I got all these vegan treats.
My grandmother was born in Italy and she was a huge inspiration in the kitchen for my mother and for my family. So growing up, she always made these cookies and they're called Anginettes and they're very classic Italian cookies. I always liked them because they're delicious, but when I became vegan, it was like that was a struggle and the holidays become harder because you like always want your mom's cookies when you go home, you know? But what was really cool about doing this dinner exchange is that during the holidays when I went home and I talked to my mother, she happened to be making the Anginette cookies. And I was like, wouldn't that be cool if we could turn these vegan and then pass this recipe along to Lauren? So my grandmother, before she passed away, has this big book just filled with all these Italian recipes, all this classic traditional stuff that she pulled from her grandmother out in Italy. And we found the secret ingredient to my grandmother's cookies is that they use this kind of cheese called ricotta or ragotte, if you're like very Italian, you want to pronounce it that way. So I was like, okay, can we turn this vegan? Can we play with it? Instead of eggs, can we use flax? And instead of ragotte, can we use like a cheese that's made from almond butter? And so my mom and I experimented in the kitchen like a lot of times. It took us quite a few tries at this recipe, but eventually we nailed it and we created something that I think is better than the alternative, but I'm biased and I'm always gonna say that. Lauren, I hope you find when making this recipe that it's actually cool to work with cheese and cookies. I know that's not something that you normally do, but borrowing a little bit from my big Italian family, I hope that's something that kind of gets you thinking in the same way that you inspired me.
I hope I make your grandma proud, Joe. And I'm actually just happy that for once I don't have to actually develop a recipe. I just get to follow someone else's. Okay, so you can actually click over to my channel, Hot for Food, to find out how to make these vegan Anginettes, because I'm doing the whole recipe from start to finish. And they're really good. I think using the ricotta makes them super moist. It gives them an interesting texture and taste. And these are so pretty. Getting to do dinner exchange really means a lot to me, and I also think it's important that we connect and become friends with our online community and our YouTube community. So Joe, keep up all the posy vibes because you're spreading a lot of love in Los Angeles, and I totally think you're on the right path. I can't wait to see where your vegan lifestyle takes you next.
So who would have thought that looking for a recipe online to impress a date would lead me to live this incredibly healthy lifestyle? I just want to thank Lauren for working every single day to inspire me and thousands of other people to get on this path with health and wellness and to inspire people to go vegan. Lauren, you're doing it right, and I can't wait to see your cookbook when it's out.